Right now, there's a video on YouTube that is absolutely blowing up. We're talking almost 10 million views and counting. It's probably past 10 million views by the time this video goes up. And no, it's not some celebrity scandal or some random conspiracy theory. It's an interview. It's an interview with who the internet has crowned the worst mom on TikTok. Or if we're getting specific, crazy inmate hopper, as in prison inmate. I will explain that in a second. So who is the person behind this viral video? Well, her name is Camilla. She's a YouTuber with almost 9 million subscribers, so you may know her, but she's also known as being one of the faces of the Bop House, which is a content house that is definitely not known for their wholesome content, if you know what I mean. So while a lot of people are eating up this interview and clocking the tea, they don't feel like Camilla is the right person to clock the tea considering who she is and what she does. But nonetheless, the video is still blowing up, people are talking about it, and Camilla is sitting across one of the most controversial figures on TikTok right now, Ash Trevino. Even if you don't keep up with TikTok drama, you have definitely heard this name before. Ash Trevino has been all over the internet, not just on TikTok. She may be dubbed TikTok's worst mom ever, but she is literally the internet's mom at this point. She's on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram. Literally, I've seen her everywhere. And I know I say that in a lot of my videos, but truly, Ash Trevino, I have seen her name everywhere. And she's not going viral for anything remotely normal. No, of course, this is the internet after all. She's gone viral for dating convicted felons. Yes, like prison inmates, people who have committed terrible crimes against humanity and have got locked up. She willingly goes out of her way to date them. She's also been clocked for dating a 19-year-old, which I'll explain later. But mind you, she was 36, turning 37 years old. But that's not even the worst part. That's literally not the worst part. She is going viral as well for exploiting her underage daughters. And somehow, despite everything, the CPS calls, because people have been calling CPS to her house, and her own kids telling her that they want their normal lives back, they want to go back to how things were before, Ash is still here. And if anything, it looks like she has zero plans of slowing down anytime soon. This might be one of the wildest internet stories I have heard in a hot minute, and I hear a lot of crazy ass fish. I've had so many people ask me to cover Ash Trevino, but I was like, nah, like this girl, I honestly felt that she would become irrelevant and she would fade into oblivion, because I was like, there's no way someone can actually build a career and stay relevant by chasing inmates, exploiting their children, dating guys half her age when you're almost hitting 40. But here we are. We are going to go over who the heck this lady is, because some of y'all may know her, but you don't actually know her. We're also going to talk about her rise to fame and why she's still relevant to this day, despite the millions who want her gone. And most importantly, we're going to discuss why does she act like this? What is going on? Like, because this story is insane. Is she some sort of master manipulator that knows exactly what she's doing? Or is she just completely out of control? I still can't believe this is a real story, but here we are. So we gotta get into this mess because Ash Trevino is so messy. But you know what doesn't need to be a mess? Your love life, especially if you're in a long distance relationship. With the rise of social media, it's natural for long distance relationships to be more popular. And they're great, but sometimes they're annoying. You know, you've got the FaceTime calls, the I miss you text, and the occasional spicy photo, you know, maybe more than occasional, depending on how y'all get down. But what if you could take things to a whole new level? Like, imagine your partner controlling your vibe from anywhere in the world. This is where Revibe comes in. They make premium remote control toys with no distance limits. So whether your partner is in a different city, country, or even continent, or maybe they're just across the table at brunch, you guys can stay connected. Let me introduce you to your new partners in crime. First up, we've got the Revibe Bond, a vibrating ring for guys. It's discreet, wearable, and controllable by your partner through the Revibe app. It's giving secret agent tech. And this right here, oh, that's Moxie. This is a wearable panty vibrator that stays right where it needs to be thanks to this little magnet. Both Bond and Moxie are fully controllable through the app, meaning you and your partner can turn it up across the brunch table or across the world. Distance is no longer an issue. These also have 10 rumbly but silent speeds, so it is discreet. No one will know, no one will hear it unless you're doing too much, then they will know. And on top of that, Moxie is waterproof, so if you're about that life, life. You can take it to the bathtub and do what you gotta do. They also ship discreetly, offer a 2-year warranty, and always have great offers on their website, so make sure you check them out. So click the link in the description box to check out WeVibe's full range of toys, including Bond and Moxie. So now that we got that out of the way and the distance is no longer an issue in your life, let's get back into this video. Let's just get into it. Part 1. Who even is Ash Trevino? So before we begin this section, I asked you guys a question on Instagram because I feel like it's really important to remember this question as we go throughout today's video. So this is what I asked on Instagram. At what point does social media fame become dangerous? So 41% of y'all said that social media is always dangerous. And I could see that low-key being true because if you really think about it, posting yourself on social media can be safe, but even the most harmless influencers, or even influencers who are not that popular or famous or even controversial, they can still get stalkers or have some privacy concerns. That's definitely possible. So even though you try your best to hide where you live, hide where you go to the gym, and try to keep everything private, people have a way of finding out stuff. So there's definitely truth to that. That's why even me myself, I try to be cautious when I post stuff because I'm not trying to get like, y'all chill, you know what I'm saying? I mean, no one has been crazy towards me yet. Let me knock on wood right now because we don't know how y'all be. Then we have 28% who says that it becomes dangerous when it encourages reckless behavior for clout. This one is definitely true as well, and I feel like we are seeing it more in real time now that everyone wants to be social media famous at any cost. A lot of streamers are doing random stuff, weird stuff, just crazy stuff and dangerous stuff to get views and to get clout. I remember when I saw that streamer, I think his name is Jack. I don't know how to say his last name, Jack Door. Y'all know Jack, like he's a really popular streamer. I think he took a break after he got into a car accident because he was speeding and texting while streaming and his friend got really hurt, but no one died thankfully. But it's just like how far are you guys gonna go to get views and to get clout? Because at some point that dopamine hit from getting engagement turns into an addiction. I feel like a couple years from now, they're gonna start doing studies on how social media engagement, views, clout, or donations becomes an addiction. Then 18% of you said that it becomes dangerous when an influencer loses touch with reality. Some influencers, they think because they have a couple 100,000 followers that the rules don't apply to them, they can get special treatment and that they're above everyone else. I mean, I've seen it. That's some tea for another day. And finally, 13% of y'all said that it becomes dangerous when it harms family and friends. This should be the biggest red flag, but unfortunately, by the time when an influencer's life starts falling apart, their audience is conditioned to see it as content. Like people watched Ash Trevino's daughter say that she would rather go back to her normal life and just kept on scrolling. However, I will say that many people have tried to report Ash for what she's doing, but it has not been successful. Ash Trevino's daughters have expressed many times that they do not want the life that their mom has given them right now. We're gonna get into what Ash has done, but people can see how much her daughters don't want this, but it's seen as content. Even though some people are watching it with sympathy and they have empathy for the girls, it's still viewed as content nonetheless. And that's where we are with social media. It doesn't stop being entertainment until it's too late. So thank you so much for participating in these polls. It is always interesting to get y'all's input on these topics. So make sure you check me out on Instagram so you can be part of future discussions and we can kiki it up. Now let's keep going and talking about Ash Trevino because I've honestly been stalling because this lady is crazy, but we're gonna have to get into it because y'all want me to make this video. I also want to mention too that Ash herself is not a reliable source. Most of the information, well, I would say some of the information I've gotten is from Ash herself, but most of it is from the internet, what people have said. People have clocked Ash. Like they do the research, they go in on her, so I trust them more than I even trust Ash herself. So anyway, some information may be wrong because Ash is not the most reliable source and she does have a habit of not taking accountability for what she has done. Take her with a grain of salt, but the internet, they check their receipts, so the truth is out there. The podcast video that I referenced earlier is super popular, so I'm assuming you may have watched that video already, and that was my first real introduction into Ash's world. And I'll tell you right now, I was confused AF. I was like, what's going on here? What's going on? I didn't know anything about her, so I went into that video blind. I was confused, but we're gonna get into it. So let's take it back to where it all started from the very beginning. So Ash Trevino is a TikToker. Yeah, we'll just call her that because there's a lot of names I could call her, but I'm gonna just call her a TikToker. And she is based in Texas. She started making TikToks in 2019 as a prison wife. Yes, you heard that right. That's how she describes it. But we'll get into that in a second. But just like most people starting out, nobody cared about her when she first started posting. She said she was getting like 50 to 100 views. No one knew who she was. No one was checking for her. But here's the thing. I found some old TikToks that Ash has made, and back then she seemed somewhat normal, if that I can call it that. Honestly, I feel like she's still the same person, but it's just that the way she spoke was less aggressive, less extra. But as I said, if you pay attention to exactly what she's saying, you can see that she has always been this way. So there's two early videos that I watched from her where she was talking about getting married to her husband that was in prison. So let me show you the video.
I got married to my husband now. Still together, still prison wife, going strong. We got married on November the 6th of 2019. And I couldn't thank God enough for sending me the man of my dreams.
So as you can see, Ash has always been into inmates for some odd reason. Maybe because when you're in prison, you don't have too many options. So she was like, let me snatch them because I'm all they can get, period. I don't know. But that's what it's giving. Ash's TikTok did not blow up until like around 2023, I would say. I feel like she mostly blew up in 2024 because that's when I really started to see her all over my social medias. But I would say 2023 is when she started to pop off. It's because people started realizing how messy her life was, but instead of fixing it and trying to be a better mother, she decided to double down on it because people love controversy. Her obsession with dating men that are behind bars is what really put her on the map. It's definitely what caught the internet's attention because she would go on live and she would talk to her prison boyfriends and just put them on speaker and talk to them. I swear that's illegal too, but she'd be doing that. Plenty of people go viral for many different reasons, but actively choosing to date convicted criminals and broadcasting it to the world, that's a whole different level of internet infamy. And one of the men that Ash has dated is Francisco Montoro. Francisco isn't just any inmate. He is currently serving time for not one, but two separate murders. In 2017, Francisco and his gang members shot and a 21-year-old in retaliation for the death of their own. And while he was already in prison for that crime, he was charged again for a 2018 gang-related execution that left two teenage girls dead. The victims were 13-year-old Elizabeth Juarez and 19-year-old Ivana Cortez. They were standing outside an apartment complex in Burien, Washington, when Francisco and his crew pulled up and shot them. Elizabeth, who was 13 years old, she was shot in the back of her head and thigh, while Ivana, who was 19, was shot 4 times. She was shot in the abdomen, head, and legs. And why did this happen? Well, apparently Elizabeth had been spray painting gang graffiti that disrespected Francisco and his crew members. So they decided to shoot and kill her. It was a targeted hit on a 13-year-old girl. And this is who Ash has dated. This story is heartbreaking, it's scary, and I can't believe anyone would want to willingly be associated with this person. Especially considering that Ash has a 12 or 13-year-old daughter. Her daughters are young, they're 13 and 15, they're around that age range. And you want to be associated with someone who wouldn't even think twice of shooting your daughters if they disrespected his gang. Like, y'all see how this is not making any sense right now. Detectives found 19 bullet casings at the scene, and witnesses said that they saw a red laser light on the wall behind the victims right before the shooting happened. And when police raided Francisco's apartment, they found a gun with a red laser light similar to what the witnesses saw at the crime scene before the shooting even took place. They also found a revolver, a 9mm magazine, and loose ammo. And his DNA was literally found on the bullet casings. This man had absolutely no remorse. He even had the audacity to film himself at the memorial for the victims, bragging about what had happened. In the video, he said, "Man shows the repercussions when you effing with the G-man. You already know what it is." So that's what he said after unaliving 2 young girls. Ash literally has a 12-year-old and 15-year-old daughter who are actually part of the podcast, which I don't even know why they were part of that podcast interview, which I'll talk about later. But the fact that Ash has daughters that are literally the same age as the victims of Francisco is crazy. When I was finding this information, I just genuinely could not believe it. Now I understand why y'all wanted me to talk about this lady. When everyone said that Ash Trevino was an inmate hopper, that she was hopping from inmate to the next one to the next one, I honestly thought that people meant inmates who are in there for not crazy charges, like maybe drug possession. Like, I'm not saying drug possession is good, but that's what I was expecting. Like, people in there that are locked up for things like that, not for murder. I don't know how you can feel safe and comfortable talking to a murderer, not just someone who out of self-defense or it was not planned. Murder was planned, and it's young girls, and on top of that, he had no remorse. And you still feel comfortable talking to him and being associated with him when you have daughters that are the same age as the victims. How does that make sense? But no, Francisco was not the only inmate that Ash has been linked to. There are so many to go over. We're not gonna go through everyone because I just can't do it. I tell you, when I was literally learning all this information, I'm like, I can't. I don't know what's wrong with her. We're gonna talk about what's wrong with her, but I don't know what's actually wrong with her. But another extremely concerning relationship Ash had with one of her prison men is with Isaiah Gonzalez. And when I tell you this one is extra weird, even by Ash's standards, it's just weird. It's bad. Ash claims that she has known Isaiah for 13 years before they got married when he was in prison. But here's the thing. When they met, Ash was 15 years old and Isaiah was 9 years old. Ash has openly admitted on her TikTok lives that she always found Isaiah attractive, but she couldn't be with him because A, she was older, and B, she was with her high school sweetheart, who is Israel, and Israel is the biological father of her children. But Israel never went to prison or anything like that. He was a free man and they were high school sweethearts, and I'm assuming that was her first love if she loved him. But if you go back to what I just said, that Ash found him attractive when they first met, girl, you're 15. Why are you looking at a 9-year-old in that way? And then to openly admit it like it's nothing, like it's just normal. Like, yeah, I used to like a 9-year-old when I was 15, huh? But just to make it clear, a 6-year age gap is not bad, but it depends on the context. This context is bad. It's weird, it's wrong. But wait, it gets creepier because Ash said herself that she literally told Isaiah's mom, she was like, yeah, I'm gonna marry your son. I'm gonna be your daughter-in-law. And Ash, on top of that, said that Isaiah grew up fast. Like that's any better. So she was like, yeah, like I'm gonna be your daughter-in-law. But apparently Isaiah's mom was like, nah, you're too old for him. But that did not stop Ash. She did not care because she has a type. Clearly. But I don't even know what's worse, the fact that Ash has admitted this or the fact that she thinks it's a cute love story, like a full circle moment. I don't know. To learn about Ash Trevino's life is literally brain rot because it just keeps on getting worse and worse. So at this point, it's clear that Ash has a pattern. She consistently picks relationships that are inappropriate, disturbing, or just straight up dangerous. And instead of acknowledging how weird it is, she acts like it's completely normal. But this isn't even the worst relationship. It always gets worse with Ash, but we'll get into that. But before we move on from Isaiah, there is something important that we need to address first. Ash has claimed multiple times on her TikTok lives that her dating an inmate should not be an issue because these men, they're not meeting her daughters. She's not taking her daughters to meet her prison boyfriends. That has been her biggest clapback at haters, if you want to call them haters. But the lie detector test determined that was a lie. Because of course, the internet dug up proof and there are receipts on the internet showing Ash's daughters with Isaiah. And it's so weird because in Ash's captions when she took her children to see Isaiah, she was calling him daddy. It was like she was referring to him as the father of her children when in fact he is not. But I honestly don't understand Ash. Why will you lie and say that you've never taken your daughters to meet your prison boyfriends and then literally posted on Instagram? Well, I believe she posted it on Instagram first and then she decided to lie about it. Maybe she deleted the photos thinking that no one would ever see it, but it's all over the internet. Ash's business is literally all over the internet and there's no one to blame but herself. You would think someone like Ash, who has been on the internet for a couple of years now and has her whole life on the internet, she would know that once you post something, it's there forever. The math is not mathing for her. And on top of introducing her daughters to Isaiah, posting it to Instagram, and then lying about it, her daughters have said that they don't like him at all. They said he was awful. They didn't go into detail what he did or why he was awful, but they did mention this on the podcast interview. And honestly, they don't even need to go into detail. I already have my own ideas of what type of man man he was or how he treated the girls, but it's just very disheartening and sad to see Ash not care about who she is dating for the sake of her daughters. And it's just so crazy because as a mother, that is your job, to protect your children. I remember I was on this, I don't know if it was on Reddit or just like an Instagram reel, and I was reading all the comments, and basically they're just talking about being single mothers and having daughters. They were like, I have to be so careful with who I'm dating. I don't let my daughters meet the guys I'm dating because you don't really know. Single mothers are a very easy target. A lot of men, not all men of course, but a lot of weirdos, they see that as easy access to children. I literally, I wish I could pull up the receipts and pull up the comments I saw, but they're saying that PDFs, they love single mothers because a single mother has to do everything. So of course she is interested in finding someone to be with so she can take the load off herself. But if you're just dating willy-nilly, or you're not putting your daughters first or your children first, you can easily date someone who's only with you for your children to get access to them. So it's really disgusting that Ash does not give a damn about her kids and will introduce her children to her prison boyfriends just like that. It's disgusting, it's sad. When I just think about it, it just gets me more mad. That's why I didn't want to make this video, but hey, y'all wanted this video, so I'm giving this video to y'all. Anyways, but just some backstory on Isaiah. He went to jail when he was 15 years old, meaning Ash would have been around 21 years old around this time, so ew. He was found guilty of aggravated robbery, arson, and murder, and he was sentenced in 2011, but he won't be eligible for parole until 2032. And he's expected to be released in 2055. Basically, he's gonna spend his whole life, and not his whole life, but a big chunk of his life behind bars, which, let's be honest, is right up Ash's type. And yes, they did get married when he was in prison. Isaiah is husband number 2 for Ash, and I believe this is her first prison husband. She's only married her children's biological dad and Isaiah. There's a video of Ash posted a TikTok where she is showing us her getting her divorce. So I'm pretty sure that this is the divorce from Isaiah, but in the podcast, her children said that she's still married. So I'm a little bit confused, don't know who the divorce is from, but just know she is married to Isaiah. They may or may not be divorced now. Out of all the people in the world, you willingly decide to go for inmates, especially ones who have committed disgusting crimes. And not only are you bringing them into your life, you're also bringing them into your children's lives. Do you not care? And look, I know that not everyone who is behind bars is guilty of the crimes that they were convicted of. The legal system is flawed, so no argument there. But personally, and this is just me, I will not go out of my way to romantically get involved with someone who is behind bars, or even to reconnect with someone who's behind bars. I'm sorry, that may sound insensitive or selfish, but I wouldn't go out of my way to form a relationship with you when you're behind bars. I'm just not doing it. And I especially would not do this if I had kids. The timeline of Ash's boyfriend is honestly a complete mess. It was hard to go through, and I didn't know what was real, what was true, what was not true, you know what I'm saying? But I can confirm that she did marry Isaiah for sure, and he was her second husband. So after things ended with her high school sweethearts, Isaiah was the next thing. And after splitting with her husband, who is her baby daddy, unfortunately he has passed away though now. I believe he died from leukemia, and that was not sure what year, but it was fairly recent, so he is dead. I am not gonna go through every single guy that Ash has been with because I'll be honest, I was losing brain cells trying to find out who's who, and then once I found out what crime they committed, I was like, what the hell, like girl, like. But another inmate that I do want to mention, because he's somewhat notable, is Jesse. But he was so disrespectful to her. I wanted to laugh, but not because I'm laughing at her, but you know, like when you don't know what to do because something is so bad and just chaotic and crazy, you just laugh. I was like, he was disrespectful. When he was released from prison, Ash picked him up and she decorated a hotel room that said something like, I think, welcome home. Like, you know those birthday celebrations where people decorate a hotel room for their significant other, like happy birthday baby, like something like that. So of course she filmed it and she posted it to TikTok. It might have been a TikTok live and people just clipped the video and posted it as a regular video. But anyway, so she filmed it. It was hard to watch just because he seemed like he would rather be anywhere else but there. This man just came out of prison. Shouldn't he be like hugging his girl, lifting her up, crying, be like, girl, I miss you so much, blah, blah, blah. Nah, he was just looking around. He wasn't even trying to be close to her. And people noticed that too in the comments. Cause I was like, am I the only one noticing this? Cause this does not seem like a man who misses his girl. Either way, she posted it, people clowned her for it. It was quite obvious that he does not like her. One comment even said under this post, "I remember when my ex came out of jail. He literally just paid attention to me nonstop. Wouldn't stop touching or holding me. Jessie didn't show no interest in her, and it's sad." It was definitely a painful video to watch, especially considering how happy Ash appeared to be. There's another video of Jessie on TikTok Live. I think he has his own account on TikTok, but he's done quite a bit of TikTok Lives with Ash, and also he's done TikTok Lives by himself. So he probably has his own account. When he said this on the live, my mouth dropped. I could not believe it. Do you know what this man said? He was on TikTok Live and he talked about how he had to cover Ash's face, covered her face and her body with a blanket when they were getting intimate because looking at her didn't get him excited. He couldn't get the D up because he just couldn't get excited by looking at her. Is that not the most disrespectful thing you could ever say to anyone? Literally, like, y'all should have saw me when I heard that. I was like, this is what he said though. Maybe he could be lying. I don't know. Because for all we know, he could have been hitting a cat without the blanket. But the fact that he opened his mouth to say this on the internet, posted it for everyone to see, oh, he don't like Ash at all. He hate that woman. Men will really embarrass you if you let them. And for a second, I actually felt bad for her. I was like, girl, damn. But then I remembered how crazy she is. The fact that she exploits her kids on the internet all the time. She ignores them. She neglects them. They don't even have a proper bed in her house. It's like a blow-up mattress. And her kids don't have a bed, but she somehow has money for all these designer bags and all of these expensive trips. So the math is not really mathing. I know I've already said a lot about Ash so far, and you probably think I'm lying, or you probably are losing brain cells, but I'm gonna need you to hold on to those brain cells because you're gonna need them to get through the next section of this video. So let's just keep on going. Part 2, Santos and the San Antonio incident breakdown. It was one thing for Ash to date inmates and put her children in harm's way, but now she has decided to date guys who are half her age and act like a teenager. If you don't know about the Ash and Santos saga, I'm gonna be real with you, you don't wanna know, but since I have to live with this information, so do you. Also, before we get any further into this mess, there's something that I want to clarify. So if you watch Ash's lives, then you hear her say the word nunu a lot. How does the nunu smell? That's my nunu, blah, blah, like just too much every time, nunu, nunu, nunu. Every 2.5 seconds. And if you were confused, let me spare you the mental gymnastics. Ash is talking about her vagina. Yeah, she even has a whole song about it. Because of course she does. Are we surprised? No. I just thought you should know this important piece of information just so you're not sitting around wondering why she's talking about her nunu like it's some sort of brand deal. So Santos is a TikToker who has been making TikTok videos for a while now. And when I checked his page, I don't really know what to say to describe it, but it's not interesting. He makes the kind of content that requires zero talent or expertise. Well, okay, let me not say zero talent, not a lot of talent. Because I guess to blow up on TikTok, you have to at least be somewhat smart because you know what works. So I'll give him some credits, but not that much. TikTok has launched the careers of a lot of amazing, talented, creative, funny, great people. But on the other hand, it also has launched the careers of people who we could have gone without. But I mean, it is what it is. Not everything good comes out of social media. Anyways, I feel like the best way to describe Santos is clout chaser. He's a clout chaser. Ever since he's gotten with Ash, 99.9% of his content includes her or just references her. There's one that says, maybe if that nunu didn't smell, she would have a Valentine's. And to that, people have commented, fix your face, you ate a 35-year-old nunu. That comment has 18,000 likes. Another comment said, you still ate that nunu and that rose toy. This one has 17,000 likes. Let me explain what those comments mean because you may be like, what is going on? We already know what nunu means, right? Right, we know what it means. But on the podcast, Ash said that her and Santos have gotten intimate twice. Ash herself is not a reliable source, of course, but it has been on the internet that her and Santos have done some stuff. They dated and yeah, they've done some stuff. I don't know what they've done, but it's there. I've seen people say that Santos ate her nunu, and also there's a video of Santos licking Ash's rose toy. If you don't know, a rose toy is a vibrator. I was not able to find this video, but I'm sure it is out there. A lot of people have talked about this, and to be honest, I don't even want to see the video. And you know, I'm not hating. Like, if y'all want to do y'all thing, do your thing, but It's the fact that it's Santos and Ash, because no. Santos is 19 years old, but apparently when he got with Ash, he lied and said he was 22 years old. Ash is 36, so she'll be 37 this year because it is 2025. Ash and Santos started dating in late 2024, which is still fairly recent because it's early 2025, I would say now. So the relationship is pretty fresh. That's why quite a bit of people are talking about it. But when Santos's age was revealed, his true age, Ash said that she was disgusted and she couldn't believe that he was 19 years old. And she says that she wishes she never met him. This is what she said in her podcast interview with Camilla. But let's just break this down for a second. Ash is 36 years old. She has 2 teenage daughters. Even if Santos was actually 22 years old, why would you want to be with him? What are you going to get out of a relationship with a 22-year-old TikToker at that? But it gets worse. It's alleged that one of Ash's daughters brought Santos to Ash's attention in the first place because they found him attractive. And instead of being a normal mother and hyping your daughter up, or I don't know, just being chill, she decides to go for Santos herself. This story actually just makes me want to cry because I'm like, how is this real life? How are you genuinely putting your daughters through all of this? This is sad. Like, this is actually sad. Her daughters have gone through it and Ash does not care at all. How can someone be this selfish? Is she a narcissist? Like, I really, like, if 1 + 1 is 2, this don't make no sense. And at this point, I genuinely don't know if Ash is just trolling or she just has no shame at all. Unlike her previous boyfriends, Santos is a free man, but he is like half her age, so there's that. Let's not give her too much credit. Their whole relationship was definitely for clout. They even live streamed their first date together, which I find so weird. It's just so interesting and weird and concerning, the lengths that people are willing to go just for social media fame. A lot of people are out of touch with reality and just real life in general. And just for what? For views, for money, for clout? Is it really worth it? As I said before, Ash and Santos are not together anymore. And this is after Ash and the whole world found out Santos's real age. Of course, Ash received a lot of clowning, a lot of backlash. People were calling her disgusting for being with someone as young as 19. And just like that, their relationship was done because Ash didn't want to be seen as that woman, that type of woman. But let's be honest, she put herself in that predicament in the first place, so she has no one to blame but herself. Now, you think after this, Ash would learn her lesson and hang out with people who are, I don't know, her own age? No, she doesn't. Instead, she's still hanging out with her crew of TikTokers who are like in their 20s, probably like early 20s, I would say. She looks odd because it's clear that she's not the same age as them, yet she acts like them. Like, girl, please have some dignity. Like, every time I see her, it's giving the mom that has to chaperone the kid's birthday, or, you know, the aunt or the uncle who try to stay hip. It's giving that. It looks odd. But what makes it worse is the fact that she literally acts like them. She acts like she is 19, 18 years old. Woman, you are 36 years old. I'm not even age shaming her, but you need to have sense. You have children. Your priorities should be in check. Why are you acting like a teenager? In fact, Ash recently had an incident at North Star Mall in downtown San Antonio. And this happened in January, so literally like a month or 2 ago. So on January 11th, Ash and her band of barely legals were spotted at the mall in San Antonio, the North Star Mall. I've seen reports that said January 13th, so I'm not sure what day, but it's around that time frame. So the TikToker Alexis Isabella, she saw Ash and her crew there. She took a video of Ash posted on TikTok and it blew up. It has like, I think 3.5 million views now, probably has more as we speak. And you can just see Ash walking around leading her entourage, and it just looks weird because you can tell they're not the same age. Like, woman, please, why are you surrounding yourself with these children? But things got messier when another TikToker claimed that 2 women tried to fight Ash while she was walking along the river walk. I wasn't able to find any videos of this happening, but if I do, I will insert it, of course. But knowing Ash, I'm not really surprised. I heard like she was getting into fights before this incident even happened, so I'm not surprised. I just didn't talk about those stuff because it's literal brain rot and I'm like, I just can't be bothered. But anyways, a third video popped up from that same day with Ash with her band of barely legals, and this time the police were involved. So according to the San Antonio police, they responded to a disturbance call at a restaurant on Monday, January 13th around 5:35 p.m. This is when Ash was at the North Star Mall with her crew. The call wasn't about no simple argument, because you know how TikTokers and streamers, you know, they do random stuff to get views for clout. They just do annoying stuff and they get in trouble with law enforcement for causing disturbances. No, this one was more than that. The police were called for a gun-related disturbance disturbance. So much more serious. A restaurant staff member called the police after a large group, which is Ash's group, started causing problems and claimed to be armed. By the time the police showed up, things had escalated, so officers ended up detaining many people inside the restaurant, and when they searched them, they found guns. Turns out D. Kane, one of Ash's associates, we'll just call him that, was carrying a gun. But not just any type of gun. The gun had a switch. So a Glock switch is a small but deadly modification that turns a semi-automatic gun into a fully automatic one. Normally, when you pull the trigger on a regular Glock, you fire one bullet per trigger pull. But a Glock switch bypasses that limit by applying force to the trigger bar, meaning that as long as you hold down the trigger, shots are going to come out. And if you're wondering why that is a huge problem, let me put it this way. A standard Glock without a switch shoots around 15 rounds in a few seconds. But with the switch, that number jumps to 1,200 rounds per minute. Not good. And in case that wasn't clear, that's illegal. Because with the switch you can hurt more people because you just have to hold the trigger and you're shooting like that. It's dangerous. And according to ABC News, there has been a 570% increase in Glock switch seizures from 2017 to 2021. And law enforcement says that these devices have directly contributed to the rise in gun violence across the US. Because suddenly people with no training can turn a regular pistol into automatic gun and hurt way more people. But it wasn't just D. Kane who was arrested. Other people were arrested who were part of the crew, but Ash was not. She did address the situation by uploading an old video of D. Kane, and she captioned it, "Free my baby." Girl, like, please get some... You're pissing me off. Then she also went on live to say that she paid bond for those who were arrested to get them out of jail. And all I can say is that your priorities are not straight. Stop acting like a teenager. Even a teenager should not do this, but stop acting like a teenager. Stop associating with these people. You have bills to pay. You are a grown woman. Buy your kids a bag. Ash is just so embarrassing. Her choices are embarrassing. She's embarrassing. And she's literally ruining her life. I don't know if she knows that, but this is just so embarrassing. Actually, not even embarrassing, just downright, I don't even know what the word is. If y'all can think of a word, let me know in the comments below, but it's disgusting. You really have no shame. Can't believe she cares about views and clout this much to do all of this. Now, I'm not making any excuses for her, but I feel like there has to be a couple of reasons why she acts like this. I'm not going to diagnose her with anything because I genuinely don't know. I'm not a doctor, so I'm not even going to go down that route, but there's definitely something going on, or girl, I don't know, but there's something going on. I know a lot of women, especially older women, have expressed that they didn't get to live out their youth. So I don't know if it's one of those situations that's going on with Ash. Because some women, they have kids too soon, whether it's by accident or it's planned, or they settle down too soon, or they have to grow up really fast because of family circumstances. There's a lot of reasons why young girls, young women have to grow up faster, and they don't really get that fun period in their life where they have no responsibilities and they can just have fun and do whatever they want. So with Ash, if you do the math, she's 36 years old right now. Her oldest is 15. So that means she would have had her daughter when she was 21 years old, which is young. I mean, it could be worse, but 21 is quite young. You're getting your life started. You are legal to drink finally, and you have to take care of a whole human. Personally, I would not want that for myself if I was 21. I don't know if her first child was planned or not. Either way, this is not an excuse for her behavior. It's just something that I'm wondering, because most people at 21, they're trying to find out their careers, they're graduating school, they're partying, having fun, traveling, dating, just doing their thing, not raising a whole human. I don't know if she's trying to catch up on the missed years, but baby, this is not the way to do it. If she wanted to live out her youth and have more fun in her life, there's ways to do it. But what she's doing is not it. Instead of being the mother that your daughters need, you're out here exploiting them for views. You're not even taking care of them properly. Do you know what kind of trauma that can cause? And that brings me to my question, like, why does she still have a platform? I know that she has had a couple accounts banned here and there, but she's still thriving. She's still getting her TikTok donations. So how does she still have a platform? You know what? Let's see what you guys have to say about this, because it's a lot. On Instagram, I decided to ask y'all, do social media platforms reward bad behavior? So 51% said that yes, the algorithm thrives on chaos. And I could see this definitely being true, because on my TikTok, when I'm scrolling down, I be seeing chaos. I be seeing a lot of chaos. And usually when we have a viral moment like Bahak Tua, what's the other other one, the Risa Tisa, it's chaos. It's a crazy story, so I could definitely see that because chaos is interesting, and whenever it's interesting, the algorithm will show us. 14% said that no, people just engage with negativity more. This one, I also feel like there is truth to it as well. I remember I had a friend ask me like, oh, like your titles are so negative, like everything's negative. But I was like, people do engage with that more. If a title is more like shocking and like scary and like that, people will click on it. But if the title is like happy, like yeah, slay, people are not really interested in that. People want to know the tea. They want to know that. So you have to play into that game, and that's exactly what I do, of course, along with all the other creators on the platform. I thought that would actually get more votes, but 14% is a decent number. Then 8% just said if the person knows how to manipulate the system. Maybe that's the case with Ash because she does seem crazy, but low-key, is she crazy or is she just a crazy genius? Actually, I can't even call her a genius, what the heck? But is she just putting on an act? And even if she's putting on an act, it's still bad because she's still putting her children and her friends and her family in harm's way. I don't know if I even mentioned, but she has her address leaked. It's like, I don't know where it is. I don't care to find it. Ash's address is out there because of herself. So even her children's friends don't feel safe to come to their house because it's leaked. It's on the internet. Ash's daughters have said they've lost friends because of what their mother does, but Ash does not care. She is selfish. Anyways, 26% of y'all said a mix of both. So I guess a mix of everything actually. Overall, I do feel like social media rewards bad behavior. It does reward good behavior, but overall, you have to do things that are like either shocking and crazy to go viral. And that's exactly what's happening with Ash, but hers is continuous. Some people get it once and boom, and that's done. But Ash, it's continuous and it's keeping her going because y'all keep donating and giving her money. Ash has proven time and time again that she is not a responsible mother. She's been investigated by CPS. I don't even know how many times. I think she said she has had 20 cases with CPS. Don't quote me, but it's a lot. And her daughters have said many times that they want their lives to go back to normal, but she doesn't care. And yet we're all still watching her. So I have to ask, why the heck are people still giving Ash Trevino attention? Is it just because we can't look away from this train wreck, or do people actually support her? Let's talk about it. Part 3. The inevitable fall off. I don't need to go through every single thing that Ash has done because honestly it gets repetitive, honestly stupid, and she makes the same stupid decision every time over and over again. So there's no point in me going through everything. It's brain rot, and the fact that she still has a platform to this day is just surprising and shocking. Like y'all literally be taking people's accounts down in 2.5 seconds, but for some reason with her, she's still here. She has dated more men, but I just did not mention all of them in today's video because I just can't. And there are videos who have done thorough breakdowns of what she has done, but I really want to talk about why we're still watching her, why she's even doing this in the first place, and more of like the aftermath of everything. There are so many things that Ash has done. It's never ending. There's even one time when she went on TikTok live and was exploiting her daughter because her daughter was sick and she was telling people to send galaxies, and galaxies are a form of TikTok donations. I'm not sure how much it is, but it's money. And she was telling people to send galaxies so they could know her daughter's business. She was like, send galaxies so I'll tell you my daughter's business so you guys can know why she's sick, instead of attending to your daughter, like girl. And her daughter pointed this out during the podcast interview with Camilla, and Ash just laughed. She literally just laughed. She cannot take accountability for anything. She continuously lies and she thinks it's funny and it's cute. This behavior is so bad, and I just really feel for her daughters. Speaking of that interview, I don't know why the children were there. If you want to humiliate yourself and go on a podcast to talk and get interviewed, do it by yourself. Don't do it with your children. Why are you bringing them into this mess? You've already done a lot. And on top of that, to the Bop House, really? You want your underage daughters at the Bop House? There's even a video on TikTok that I saw, which was just weird. It was the two daughters dancing with the ladies of the Bop House, and the dance wasn't anything crazy or suggestive, but it was just odd because they're underage and you know what the Bop House is, and it's just, everything feels wrong. But if you don't know, the Bop House is a content creator house, and they were able to get over 1.3 million followers on TikTok in just 1 month when they launched it. I don't know how much they have now, probably a lot. So they are basically like a hype house, but for OnlyFans creators. The concept is pretty simple. A bunch of influencers move into a mansion together, they create content together, and they cross-promote each other to boost their brands. The whole brand is about being a bop, which means baddie on point. I have my own thoughts on the Bop House, but you know, y'all do your thing, get your money up. But my thing is that why are these children at the Bop House? Even if they're just there for an interview, No, like, you don't protect your daughters at all. I've said this many times before, the interview should have just been done with Ash. When I watched the interview, I was so surprised to see her daughters. I'm like, why are they here? She's famous because she's controversial. Controversy is a business model. The formula is pretty simple. She does something shocking, then the internet drags her for it, then she goes on live to defend herself, plays victim, or trolls even harder, then people hate watch, which means more views, more money, more clout, exactly what she wants. And the cycle just keeps on repeating, because at this point she's made a career out of being unhinged. And the worst part is that it works, because the more people talk about her, the more attention she gets. And I'm aware I am talking about her. I'm doing this video because I got many requests to make this video, and it is important to call her out. I think it's important to call her out in a serious way. I know some people have been seeing it as drama and as something funny. Sometimes you want to laugh at the things she does because it's just so cringy and bad, but if you really look at the full picture, it's bad. Like, it's not even tea, it's bad. And to me, the people who are talking about her are not the bad ones, or not the worst ones. It's really those who are donating and funding her lifestyle. She claims that she has made $12,000 on a single live. That's the most money she's made. She could be lying, but she has said this quite a bit of time, so maybe there's some truth to it. And I believe on that live, she said she was working for 2.5 hours, I think. So she made 12K in 2.5 hours. That's a lot of effing money. So even though a lot of people don't like her, people are still donating, they're giving her money, they find her interesting, and she's still here. Because imagine making 2K, not 2K, imagine making 12K in 2.5 hours. Maybe I need to start acting up. I'm joking. I would not do that. Because act up, you can get snatched up. A lot of people watching her don't even like her. It's really just hate watching, or they're just so invested into her life. They're like, what's the tea? And I can't even blame them, because she's literally all over my social media. Naturally, you're going to be interested in her life because everyone is talking about her. Everyone keeps bringing her up. But the thing is that with social media, it doesn't care if you hate someone. A watch is a watch. A view is a view. People may hate watch her, but it's getting views and it's boosting the algorithm, and that's that. It's hard to ignore her because she's everywhere. So I'm not attacking y'all for watching her, but don't donate to her. Why? Don't do it. But here's the thing about people who build their whole brand on controversy. It never lasts, because eventually the audience will get bored. One of these three things can happen. She can get banned. TikTok has already cracked down on other accounts for way less, so it's definitely possible that she can be banned completely from making new TikTok accounts. Another thing is that people can stop caring. Eventually, even the messiest influencers lose their audience. When people get tired of their shenanigans, or they're just doing the same thing over and over again, people are sick of it. I literally just found out about all of the crazy things that Ash has been doing, and I'm already over her. So I can't imagine people who have been there at the start. Y'all must be tired of her. And the last thing that can happen is that Ash pushes it too far. She's already made a lot of stupid decisions, but at some point she might do something that she can't bounce back from. And who knows, maybe she's gonna end up behind bars just like her lovers. Ash is reckless, and she's had so many things, from the gun related investigation, even though it wasn't her, but she was associated with them, the CPS calls, all that. I don't know, I'm just saying, like, something bad could happen if she keeps going down this route, which would be absolutely terrible, because then her daughters, they don't have a mom anymore. Their dad already passed away. Their mom's doing this. I cannot imagine having a mother like Ash. I genuinely cannot. Like, I really do feel for these girls, like, especially because they are so young. Thank God I was not born to Ash Trevino. Damn, because oh, hell no. And Ash is doing all of this just for some TikTok fame, for money, for clout, for I don't even know, God knows what. She's doing all of this. Like, is it worth it, girl? But after going through all of this, there is a question that I asked in the beginning of the video that I still want answered. Is Ash some kind of mastermind, or is she just completely unhinged? Is she just out of control? And honestly, I feel like it's both. Because here's the thing, Ash definitely knows what she's doing to some extent. She goes on live consistently because she knows controversy makes her money. She trolls people and plays the victim because she knows it's gonna keep the drama going. She feeds into the chaos because, let's be real, if the attention stopped, so would the money. So in that sense, she's manipulating the situation. But at the same time, I don't think she's in control as well. The fact that she keeps pushing her boundaries even though it backfires, and the way that she surrounds herself with drama 24/7 despite it hurting her family, her friends, and her daughters, and not to mention the reckless decisions that she has made, the oversharing of relationships, and doxing herself on the internet, that does not sound like someone who's strategic and calculating. It sounds like someone who is spiraling. She sounds like a person who is addicted to attention, chaos, money, clout, and fame. That's what it sounds like. And that's a dangerous combination, especially as a mother, or just as a person in general. That's bad. So we can say confidently that Ash is definitely TikTok's villain. She has been dubbed the worst mom on TikTok, crazy inmate hopper, she's a wreck. The whole thing doesn't make sense. And my brain cells have completely left me. She doesn't care to be the villain as long as she gets her money and clout. Every villain has a rise, but every villain has its fall. The only question is, when does Ash Trevino's story stop being entertainment? Anyway, thank you so much for making it till the end of today's video. It was a big one. My brain cells are gone. I still can't believe this is real life. I just don't know how long she can keep this going. Anyways, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Check out my other videos as well so you can get more tea on what's popping on the internet. And don't forget to check out the link in the description box. WeVibe has amazing toys you can check out if you're single with a partner or whatever. Have your fun and live your life. I'ma see y'all next time, maybe in a week or two. Okay, deuces. Bye.